don't deal with tornadoes, they don't get that jump, that winch. But
Well, I will pray
it's a
for you. You
tornado.
know I will. Are you ready before we bring Susan out? Are you ready to check the prayer urn?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. That was full earlier this week. There's still some in there. But a lot of people have been sending me prayer requests. Henry L. from Colorado. Hello, Henry. I have recently lost both a dear friend and a family member. Could you please pray for all the dearly departed? I love that request. Henry, I am so sorry for your loss. I too recently lost a nephew, and yeah, that's a wonderful request, Henry. Let me find one for you and for all the departed souls out there. Okay, let's go with this. This is a beautiful one. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, I believe that in your wisdom and justice you willed to purify all persons who die without having attained the state that they need for all eternity. All who have still to expiate completely the sins committed on earth. I also believe that you have mercifully arranged that this process of purification can be aided by the prayers of the living, especially the Eucharist. Help me to pray for my brothers and sisters who have departed from this world. May their time of purification be short, and they be quickly guided into that holy light promised by our Lord to Abraham and his descendants. I offer you sacrifices and prayers of praise. Accept them for all the souls of the faithfully departed and admit them to heavenly joy. Amen.
Amen.
Hang in there, Henry. I'll add you to the prayer list, brother. Keep me posted on how things are going with you. All righty. I'm going to save that worked out great when we saved the mailbag with the guest on, because sometimes that question from the mailbag is right in their wheelhouse, and it's interesting to get their take on it. So, any announcements before we bring her out? Any announcements you'd like to make? Books coming up, or
I
new
do
authors on board, or anything like
I
that?
do not have any announcements this week.
Well, that's okay. I have a feeling, I know you're working on projects, so as soon as you're ready to announce them, you know you've got a platform here, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty, brothers and sisters, what can I say about today's guest? I know each and every one of you. If you don't already know her and love her, by the end of the show, you're going to know her and love her. I've known her a long time, easily as long, if not longer, than I've known Annette. I love her and respect her too. She's one of the truly gifted psychic mediums that I know, and she's been so much help to me, um, just as a friend and spiritually over the years. I don't know what else to say. She's live from Cape Cod. She's also known as the Happy Medium. Please give a big, warm Paranormal Ministry family welcome to the one and only Susan Ahearn.
Hi, Susan. I'm so glad to meet you.
This is wonderful. I'm so excited. Thank you, Annette. It's so nice
Well,
meeting
listen, let me tell you something, and then I'm going to be quiet so you guys can get to know each other. Um, Sharon says hello. She's bummed. She tried her hardest to get off early today and get home in time to watch the show. Because when I used to have you on Happy Medium Mondays, you came on later. She would be home from work by then to watch the shows. But where it's 2 o'clock here Pacific, she's still at work. So she's bummed, but she sends her love. And maybe one day soon, if I can talk Michelle DeRoche into giving me a night that'll work for you, maybe we can bring back Happy Medium Mondays on UPRN. I don't know. I'm working on things, so just so you know.
Good, good, good. That's so cool. Oh, I'm
Um,
just so excited to be here. So,
well, there's a lot I want to talk to you about. I do know that we're going to give our audience in the chat room, 3 audience members in the chat room, a chance for a free reading. And if
okay.
you're out there and you've ever wanted to have a free live on air psychic reading from one of the best, today's your chance. We're only doing 3 of them. All you need to do in the chat room is type in your name and your question. But no conjuring of spirits today, because that's a completely different style of mediumship and takes a lot longer. Just, quickie questions. When am I going to meet my soulmate? Am I going to get the job? Am I going to do some traveling? You know, health questions, love questions, money, things like that. And Susan will answer them as they come in. I'm sure her or Annette will notice them in the chat room, and they will take care of you. But other than that, I'm going to let.
We're gonna take questions about love, travel, money, and all that. I'll ask her why I don't travel and why I don't have any money and why I don't have any love.
You know
that
what?
Covers just about everything.
You know what? We might as well. I might as well let you go ahead and read Annette.
All right.
Because hey.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about Annette, so this is good. This is like really is. All right. What would you like to know, Annette? What would be helpful for you?
How about are you able to say what the next 6 months or a year will bring?
Yeah. I can tell you what is important coming up for you that you need to know about. And then we let them decide. I like to keep it big so that way then when your guides come through, and maybe I should start by how it works. So my guide that I use to help me with all of this connects with your guide. And then your guide tells them just what is most important and for me to know. They don't tell me everything. I don't need to know everything. Just what's important for you moving forward on, in your journey. And so that's what we'll be discussing. So that's kind of how it works. It's pretty simple.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. So you want to know what is most helpful for Annette to move forward in this journey for her tonight. All right. Stand your ground. Someone's challenging you. There's a challenge either coming or a person is challenging you.
Uh-oh.
And this is the next card. It's the Fool. So someone who probably thinks they know everything but doesn't. And this is hard for you because you're trying to stay neutral, but you're almost, and this is the moon is the family. So this may be someone in the family that is not taking direction very well right now. And so then I would ask, okay, so now that we know that, where do we go from there? And so that would be the next thing. Okay. And so I get the Peace card. We can't, especially now, what's happening on the planet right now on an energetic level is that we can't make anyone anything. We just have to honor where people are in their emotional space. And so whomever this is that is giving you the challenge, not necessarily does it have to be a family member, but like I see Shawn as a family member, although he's not blood. So it could be someone that you care about that is not really seeing, they're not really making the best decisions. And so you almost have to the only thing that you can do is send them love. This is the Peace card. And just hold love for them. Because I don't think at this point anything you say is going to make a difference to this individual person, which is going to be pulling at your heartstrings because you're a doer. They're saying you're a doer. You like things, you like it schedules, you like things in order. And so it's hard to watch someone struggle when you know the answer. And that can be difficult. So is that helpful or do you need something else around that?
That is helpful. I was just really interested in what you would say. And I was kind of joking around not to actually just start the readings already and start with me, but just sort of joking because he said travel and love and money. And I'm like,
right. You like that. All right. Well,
I like that. But we also want to talk about your movie and your case and everything else. But we do have a couple of people. So if you wanted to kind of do readings first and then cut out and talk.
Yeah, that's perfect.
If Shawn likes that idea. What do you think, Shawn?
Oh, it's your guys' show, man. I'm having a good time just enjoying it.
Okay. All right. We have someone that says, hi, my name is Lara. Just a general question. How do you see me living in another foreign country? I'm already living abroad at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Laura. Thank you. I so appreciate everybody that takes the time to call in and people that take their time to watch. I love that. Okay, so what does Laura need to know about if this is a good idea, or what is the best thing for Laura to do at this point in time? Okay, so know where you're going, know what you're doing, have an itinerary. I feel like you have pretty good sea legs when it comes to traveling, but know what's going on. Know this is the cave, and so it's a little overwhelming. So if you go in blind, and not really know what you're doing and just kind of wing it, I don't see that working out in your best interest at this time. And I know maybe you've done this before and you're like, oh, I'm just going to wing it and just kind of go and see what happens. They're saying be aware and have your itinerary ready, like know what you're going to do, because it's not going to work out as smoothly. This is the beast, and the beast is your own inner beast. And right now what's happening is that we're having lessons being taught to us, and they're coming up in different ways. And this could cause you to be overwhelmed, and I don't want that to happen. I was changing the wrong way. Sorry for that. So if you know this is coming, then it may not be as smooth as possible, and you have all your plans marked out. I think it's going to be better for you. You're going to benefit from that. And make sure that you stay in contact with the people, friends, once again, family, anyone that's around you that you feel comfortable with in sharing your itinerary and or in that internet connection, so that they know where you are and what you're doing. And I think that would be fine. Just be aware. Okay. And this isn't anything to be afraid of. This is just you in your own inner beasts. This isn't anybody else, because it's telling me that this is you. So it's going to be your shadow side, or your issues about maybe being a little more prepared and less free spirit on this trip. Okay. I hope that was helpful.
Wonderful.
Very cool. We got a question from Rabo Combs. And Rabo, oh, okay, there's the question. Will our government finally give full disclosure about UFO next year? I'm 77 and running out of time. And it's kind of an interesting question, because I think, well, no one cares what I think. They want to hear what you think about it. But
no, I care.
If you're, I think the only people left that don't believe in it are just people that don't want to believe in it, because there's so much evidence out there. But we've kind of gotten a little partial disclosure here and there, but I don't know if they're ever going to come right out and make a complete and total full statement about it. I don't know if that would, but you're the medium. I'm just,
Yeah, and I would have to say that, the government will never fully disclose anything. So if we're looking towards that, and we're holding on to that, I think our reality now is that they've proven that they will not be working for the people. They've kind of proven that. Unfortunately, they have an agenda that really doesn't encompass we the people. And so there's that. And now that we know that, we are informed, where do we go with that? And in the ET world, our otherworldly people are saying, turn back into the self, know your own truth, know what you believe is true. So Robo, I want you to work on, however long any of us have, that you know what your truth is. And that's where I'd like to encourage people to listen to their own inner voice, right? If you hear, oh, I need to probably get up and leave, then honor that, because there's probably a reason. Or I believe that XYZ exists. I don't really need the government to prove it. I will trust that my people that I do trust, you know, and it's okay if we're wrong too. What does it matter? You know, this is something that is helpful and that we have enough information, I think, at this point for us to decide one way or another. And I really love my off-world people that I happen to be channeling more and more now. Their information is just spot on. And so that brings me comfort. And so I'm going to work with that. Yeah.
I'm from Illinois, and I've already seen UFOs 3 times here in Oklahoma. 3 times. And one of them I took a video, and I mean, okay, I can't, you know, we have to be strict in our definition, unidentified flying object. I'm not saying I saw aliens. I'm saying I don't know what that is. That's what I'm saying. 3 times. And it just hangs there in the sky, not moving. One was there so long, I went in the house after watching it for about an hour and a half. I came back, it was still there, just there, blinking lights on the bottom, just, yeah. So, and you know, there's a lot of states like this, but I know they have a lot of sightings in Oklahoma.
That is really cool. And I believe that it's because of what we've done to the fracking and its infrastructure. I think they're just watching. They're gathering information from us. We're fascinating to them because we possess things that they don't have.
Right.
And not to say that they have all the answers and they're these worldly beings that are perfect. They are not. And I don't want to give them more credit than they deserve because they have in their own infrastructure problems as well. So they like to watch us and they like to gather information from us. And our emotion, our ability to have emotion is fascinating to them. So they like to watch that. So I think that that's pretty cool.
We have another comment on the UFO subject.
Oh, cool.
Angel Rock with Lorelei Potvin. That sounds like a show name.
Well, that's Lorelei. Laura. I want to give a quick shout out to Lorelei.
Oh,
she's kind of shadowing me in the green room today in the studio.
She's the lady helping us do the show right now, and I'm all confused.
But she also has a wonderful show. She's going to be on my show here soon, just to let you know, Annette, and then I'm going to be on her show coming up, I think, next month. So, yeah, God bless Lorelei. She's just shadowing us today because I'm new at this, and I want to make sure it runs smooth. So it's very cool.
But she's saying I have a few videos of UAPs in the sky where I live in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. And we also get a lot of activity here too. So
Canada's really hopping, and I don't know why. You know, I don't get those answers. But Canada and spots of Canada is really, really popular. So I've wanted to take going kind of up to the Great White North and to kind of, they've got these awesome Sasquatch sightings and the UFO. I feel that they're kind of doing that Sasquatch may be a part of the alien spectrum, and that's why they're so elusive. That's why we're not seeing their carcasses around, because
we've been hearing people say that. And also I want to ask you what you think about Mothman, and that's something now that in recent years Mothman stories all over the place, and it used to be, you know, centralized down by, that's West Virginia, I think. Virginia. Yeah. And now all kinds of Mothman stories. And what Mothman, do you have any theories on what kind of creature Mothman actually is and what he's looking for, or anything like that? Do you think that that's tied in with UFO phenomena or demonic or?
I do believe that is once again another, spectrum of the off-world, culture or civilizations, I should say. And he looks, like a bug. So you've got that part of it, and it's evolved into whatever it needs. Now, it appears, when we don't know something, we tend to think that it is demoned, or we should be afraid of it, or there's something bad towards it. It just happens to show up around calamity, right? But what if it's kind of helping us around the calamity, and we're just blaming it on the poor Mothman? No one ever threw that out there.
That's
So,
true.
they're kind of blaming the Mothman for the situation when we probably should be blaming our own civilization.
Right.
He also is probably doing this going, why are they calling me Mothman?
I'm offended by that. Yeah. So
there's people, quite a few people that think that all of the aliens and all the UFO stuff is all demonic. I didn't used to hear a lot about that, but I hear a lot more about it. And I want to say something interesting is back in the day when I was doing my show, people had to choose between talking about paranormal or UFOs because you couldn't come out and say that you had experiences with both of that, or you were a true nutcase. That everybody would just, but the truth of the matter is a lot of paranormal people have seen not just UFOs, but multiple different kinds of otherworldly, supernatural, whatever you want to classify it as. So it's kind of like, I think maybe a sensitivity thing more than, but back in the day, you had to pick whether you wanted to talk about ghosts or you wanted to talk about aliens, or else you would just be dismissed.
Yeah, correct. And
so
I think
now a lot of people saying all of it's demonic.
Right. And that was when religion had a heavy hand on what we were allowed to believe and not believe. And I think that now that we are, that part is shifted and it's even softened. We're seeing that the church has softened their views on things, that it's giving us permission to have more of a independent thinking. And
it's kind of like we think of it all as being the same thing, but there could be all, just like us as human beings, all different kinds of aliens, and they're not just, there's a guy with the egg-shaped head and the big eyes, and that's all there is. I mean, we don't know. So we just classify it as all the same thing from the same place. We don't know.
We don't. Yeah, we don't.
It's simple.
Unless you've seen it, then you can, and even then we doubt ourselves even after seeing what you've seen. You go, did I maybe, no, that couldn't have meant, like we even go through that doubting our own gaslighting. But after a while, you're just like, I know what I saw. I know what I felt, and I know what I experienced, and no one can take that from you. So, yeah. And I like talking about it more. Like this conversation, there's no threat. You can say whatever you need to, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's interesting." And so I love your guests, and I love all your listeners, because they're open to it, and we're even open to hearing we don't believe that. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah,
I am too. I get people every day call me crazy, tell me they think I'm crazy. I could be,
That's your wife. That's Sharon saying that.
You bring up religion. I find it interesting that even the Vatican now has courses that they're giving a lot of their new priests on how to handle first contact. I find that very interesting.
Right.
And I think long before the government gives us full disclosure, I believe the extraterrestrials themselves will give us full disclosure, because I believe they've been here before us and they're among us. And I think it'll be mind blowing, but I don't think it'll be a threatening thing. I think they're invested in us and invested in the planet. And so at least that's what I pray for. So we'll see what happens.
All the way back in Egypt, in the pyramids, they have hieroglyphs that look like spaceships, and all kinds of questions about how they were able to do so many of the things that they were able to do back then, and even build the pyramids, and
the Anunnaki. Yeah.
Right.
Very amazing.
They have like hieroglyphics that look like light bulbs and all kinds of stuff. And when you think about it, like a lot of our mysterious places, that could look like a road map from up in the sky. It'll be like, oh, take a left at the pyramids, and Stonehenge and all that stuff, like from the sky. That could be a way that they navigated themselves around.
Right.
It's funny, you bring up Canada, you bring up religion, and I know I'm going to get some hate mail from some colleagues saying, well, God created them too. And I believe God did. Not
Created
just because they
Canadians?
didn't, all of it.
Okay.
But this one guy, one of my best interviews ever with a
Mhm.
contactee was a gentleman in Canada who
Mhm.
said when the aliens had approached him, the first question they asked him was, "Have you seen God yet?"
Mhm.
And I thought that was really fascinating. So apparently these space adventurers or travelers or whatever you want to call them, that contacted him that were here, part of their going to other planets and other worlds is searching for God too. I thought that was really fascinating. So, the three of us are going to be having this conversation one day in heaven and laughing about all the things we'll know then that we don't know now. But,
Right.
it's all fascinating. You know
I
what I do want people to know about you,
have another
Susan? This
little
is your
theory
first. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have another little theory that they might be time travelers and they're us from the future. And they're coming back for resources and they do like medical experimentation, but they don't really do anything really bad to us and they could have. But I mean, what if in the future we evolved from living in a dark place, in a warm place, to hairless, small creatures with big eyes? They got hands and feet and everything like we do. So they might not be from another place, but more of another dimension or another time, and they come back.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
Very interesting. I know that there's a lot of people probably this is your first time on my show, Susan, on the new network, UPRN. So for those that don't really know you, and I'm going to do a show just on this topic, so I'm just going to throw it out there for people to know, and I'll tell you why. I'm just going to throw it out there. You always say 5, I say 7, and we always say near-death experiencer, but you actually died 7 times
Good.
and was sent back. Um, Having said that, I can't. I've lost track of how many people reach out to me on a weekly basis,
Mhm.
also near-death experiences or death survivors that suffer a great survivor's remorse.
Mhm.
Why did I survive this and this person didn't? Or why did I survive this when I shouldn't have? And now why am I here now? What's the purpose? Yada, yada, yada. Um, I usually send people to, and I know I've got it around here somewhere, um, NDERF, Near Death Experience Research Foundation. I send a lot of people there because they can talk to folks. But I've thought about you a lot when these people come reach out to me. Would you mind if I sent people wanting answers to that kind of stuff to you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's fine. Yeah, they can go to my website, CapeCodHappyMedium.com, and just a little note there, and they can just blah, 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 and ask away.
Very
Yeah.
cool. And a lot of people don't believe in mediums. I'm in the camp where I think every paranormal team should have a good, truly gifted psychic medium such as yourself on the team. I know that you're legit. You've seen angels. Uh, you've heard God. So you've seen heaven. All of that. So having said all of that, I don't know. I don't know where to start with you because you're all over the board. I mean, we're 2 months away from Halloween. I know you probably have events coming up with your new paranormal team. You've been in movies. You're working on a new movie now. I know there's a spirit there at that, and they seem to follow you around. Whatever you want to talk about next, have at it. I mean, it can be the movie, it can be NDAs, it can be what you might have coming up around Halloween time. I'll let you choose what you'd like to talk about.
Oh, cool. Let's talk about the movie and get that out of the way because it's fresh in my mind. And the building that we're in, so I should say, it is a suspense horror drama, and it's we're filming it in Tewksbury Hospital, which is the state hospital that's active. It was built back in 1854. And it was originally, they were only supposed to have 500, what do you call it? Patients. And I was going to, I'm going to call them patients. And when it opened, immediately they had 2,000 patients. So you can see that overcrowding in a situation that was only supposed to have 500. Once again, it's the state, so I don't expect much, but there's like, I couldn't even tell you how many. There's at least 12 buildings that I can see from where we are, and I haven't even run around the acreage. And I don't think that maybe it still sits on 800. I think that they probably sold some of that out or sub it out because there's corn growing and it just was really cool. So which I think is really interesting is that, so here we are, we're working in this psychiatric facility, and the buildings that we're working in are closed down, but there are some others that are working with substance abuse and that kind of, and that's a rehab facility at this point. So we're working in these abandoned buildings, and it's spooky. I mean, the best part of working. Hi, Brian. So everyone calls me the set mom because I run around making sure I'm my mother, everybody. I'm like,
do you mind if I interrupt you real quick here?
No, go ahead.
Is Daniel directing this?
Daniel is directing it.
I love Daniel Groom. You know I do. Is this the movie where he reached out to me and sent me a part of a script of a possession/exorcism scene in a hospital for my take on it to see if it seemed legit and, if it would translate to the screen good and if it, those types of things happen. Is this that movie?
This is that movie, finally.
Wow, that's going to be good.
So
that was a great scene he sent me.
Yeah, Brian is one of the writers and producers of this. So it's been great to work with everybody. Everybody works so well together. This is the best movie I've ever worked on that is just so smooth. I mean, it's been hot. It's been hot in these places that the windows don't open and it's dusty and gross and it's perfect. It's just perfect. And you're going to love it when it finally comes out sometime 2025. I'll let you know. And we'll have to have Daniel on and book him now because you're going to book up fast, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, so the energy. So you have all these suffering souls. They're suffering mentally, they're suffering physically because they don't have the space to take care of an extra 2,000 people. And they are, they're just suffering. One way or another, they're just suffering. And you feel that when you walk on the set. I feel it. I feel it. And so I do a ceremony for myself and any believers. I don't push that on anybody, but anybody that wants me to ground them before we do something, I ground everybody. And then I go around checking to make sure that nobody has been attached. And so I want to make sure that we're all feeling good. And so then I check with their energy, and this one actor, he said, "You know what? I'm feeling really dizzy. I don't feel good at all." And it's not for lack of hydration because I'm always running around going, "Do you have hydration? And when did you drink? Here's some water, blah, blah, blah. Do you need salt? Do you need some chips? You see some sustenance, everyone's good." So this particular actor was having a spiritual psychic phenomenon that was happening. He was getting, he was feeling the energy in the building. And at that same time, we're filming, and everybody's in their place, all the actors are, and I stand back and I'm making sure that they're, everybody looks good, their hair is right, the continuity is perfect. And then I feel an entity walk into our space that we're working. So I like feel it. So it's like, what? Like immediately I'm like looking for something. So now I'm scanning with my psychic eyes to see where this thing is. And I can't see it. It's hiding from me. And this is in the daytime. So this is about 5 o'clock, we'll say, in the afternoon. And which is not a popular time for entities to come through. So just when I recognize that, okay, something's here and I can feel it, it sucks the energy out of the light bulb above us and does this huge flash. And everyone's like, what is that? And it was really cool how it had drained the energy from the light bulb so it could be there and be present at that time.
Wow.
It was really cool. So once we can get to view the filming, the footage, I'm really curious to see what we're going to be catching on film that I didn't see with the naked eye. Oh
yeah, there'll be lots. Name of the movie?
STONEGATE.
Do you have a far off best guesstimation on release date?
I think Daniel said the spring of 2025. He's working.
That's just around the corner.
So it's not too. I would say 6 months. Give it six to 8 months would be realistic. There's not a lot of takes. We're really good. All the actors that we're working with, we've got young kids coming through. Amazing. I'm just so pleased with everybody's the work that everybody has, and the script. Brian did a fantastic script. So I mean, it's really good. So,
well, maybe around maybe there'll be some time in the fall for you and Daniel to break away, just take a little break from that, because I know you guys do the paranormal investigations and events and stuff too, correct?
Mm-hmm. So I do have a kind of like a stand-up right around Halloween. Actually, it's the day before Halloween down here at the Barnstable Comedy Club. And they want me to kind of talk about my life and my situations and all my near-death experiences and share some ghost stories. And so that's what we'll be doing at the comedy club, which I kind of thought was funny. I thought I was like, I'm excited for that. So
very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. That's funny. I think the three of us are all psychically connected here, because that was another question. I get a lot of people that reach out to me who I get some people that are gifted. It scares them because they don't want to go full-blown trance mediumship. Mm-hmm. But even physical mediumship, like you do a lot of table tipping events and things of that nature, there's a certain amount of channeling, from what I understand, done, and the spirit is through you being able to move things. So there's a physical there, but now you're walking such a fine line of going into trance. I know some trance mediums who, when they totally allow the spirit to come through and speak through them, they're like facial. It's almost like a possession. Their faces change and their voices change, and it's pretty amazing and pretty eerie and pretty scary. But like, I have friends who are Buddhists that practice deity yoga, and they invite, during the yoga sessions, they invite spirit possession to get these to get messages and stuff. How do you draw the line and prevent yourself? Because I'm sure on more times than we could ever count, there have been powerful spirits that have wanted to just take you over and actually speak through you. And I know you're not into that. How do you protect yourself for all of the truly gifted people out there that are just now realizing they're gifted, but they don't know if they have really good control over it? What do you do?
Before I go into, like, say, the set, before I go into this haunted building, and we're talking like thousands and thousands and thousands of ghosts that don't know they're dead, didn't pass on, have been tormented. They have mental issues. So there's some rage there with some of the schizophrenic energy that I'm picking up. So they can go into a flash rage. And I've walked through that. They may be standing there, and if I walk down the hall, I take that on, and I will then check. And that's why I'm on set checking everybody. I had to leave last set early because I started to dry heave. The energy was that horrible for me. I said, I gotta go. I'm not feeling well at all. And on the way down 3 flights of stairs, I'm like, but it was getting later. So the energy in that building later, and we will be able to, Daniel and the team will be able to experience that separate from the movie. And we're putting static cameras in so we can observe overnight, so we don't physically have to affect ourselves. But it's going to be powerful, whatever's there. And they don't know boundaries. Some of those patients don't have boundary systems. So everybody's free game.
Do you guys want to check the mailbag real quick before we run out of time?
I would love to.
Yeah.
And
Susan, we started doing this. We started checking the mailbag with the guest on because we found more and more of these questions ended up being in a lot of the guests' wheelhouse.
Really interesting answers. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. This is from Barbara H. in Maine. Oh, that's just around the corner from you.
Yeah.
Cape Cod.
Hey, Barbara.
Here it is. This was meant to be. I'm psychically gifted. It was a no-brainer to try and help people with their paranormal issues. Many times before and after cases, I'm visited by spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though I have been fooled from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
How can I tell the difference between a human spirit and something not and up to no good? And I'm the first one to say, I know in my lifetime in this field, I have been fooled before. So it does happen.
It does. And they like to present themselves as something very sweet, innocent, most likely children, sometimes women that are in distress. Women in distress will come to men because it's kind of interesting. They're like, oh, I'll help you. They play on your vulnerability. So whatever your thing is, that your soft spot, it could come as a pet. If you're a pet person, it could come as a pet and go, oh, look at that cat. And they go, So what I was trained is to make them authenticate themselves. Who is appearing in front of me? Show yourself. Tell me who you are and be firm. If you don't have boundaries as a person to anybody on the planet in a human form, the spirit world is going to eat you up. So I would say, check your boundaries. What is your boundary today? I don't put up with anything. So when I get to dealing with the other side, I don't put up with it. I just don't. I don't have time for this. I'm too busy. I don't have time for this. Or I'm too tired. Now I'm just too tired. I'm like, nope. So have your boundaries, set them up, and your human energy can banish anything. You just push it away like it would be a human. I'm not dealing with you. I don't have to talk to you. You're like, oh, please.
I know. Annette too has gone. That has happened to Annette a lot, and she edits and publishes a lot of paranormal stories.
Oh, I can imagine.
And so, with all of the visitations you've had, Annette, have you thought that at one time it was something when it ended up possibly being something different?
Well, 2 things that it made me think of, and one I did not experience myself, thank God, because I think it's really scary, but stories about black-eyed children that come and knock on people's doors, and they have, the story where they need some help, and you look at them and they don't look quite right. But other than that, one of the things that it's kind of a little outside of what you're asking, I guess, that seemed really rattling to me was mimicking spirits. And I'd sneeze and then I'd hear myself sneeze behind me. And I'm the only one home.
Mimicking.
And what happened again, mimicking spirits. It sounds like me. I sneeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It was very creepy. Have you ever experienced something like that?
Oh yeah. Actually last week after coming off the set, It was a long night. I finally got home at midnight, climbed into bed, 2:45, bam, 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 on my front door. And I jumped out of bed, grabbed a weapon, because I have a weapon. Retired police officer, I just want to say that. Grabbed my weapon, and I go to the front door because it's not normal. That's just not something normal.
Right.
And I'm going to protect myself. So I have a motion light that comes on. The motion light never came on to the door that was banging. So I went, okay, that just tells me right there that that's not normal, and that it wasn't human. And then so it was something, and it was dark-eyed. It was definitely dark-eyed with this emptiness. And I went,
Oh,
something came home. And so then I go, I'm too tired. I am not, if I have to come out here, almost like the mother, like, if I have to come in there, you're getting in trouble. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'm tired. So it went away, didn't happen. I fell right back to sleep. But yeah.
I love her response. It's not eek. It's, I'm too tired for this.
That's funny. I totally forgot you used to be a police officer.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep, I totally forgot about that. You told me a story, and I don't know if this falls under this category, but in terms of mimicking, you had a psychic experience once, a paranormal psychic experience that I would say would be mimicking, where you were being drawn to this house.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't know why, but you were being drawn so much to this house, you had to just go to the front door and knock. Like, have I been here before? What's the story?
Oh.
And the person, I think it was you, and the homeowner answered the phone or answered the door and said that you had already been there.
No, that's not me. That's a fantastic story. Ooh.
Yeah,
maybe that's your next guest. That's really cool, though. No, that has not happened to me.
That hasn't happened to me. Yeah,
I
have to check my notes on who that was, because even I went.
Right? Yeah.
Sharon sees me here all the time, right here in the office at the computer working, and it's so me. I mean, she's absolutely sure it's me. Yeah. She will say, okay, it's okay for me to go into, like, let's say, the master bathroom, and I'm not going to interrupt him. He's not in the shower or something. She'll go in there, and there I am, TMI on the toilet or something. I'm like, hello, I'm in here. No, honey, you're in the office.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't experience that. I thought you were going to bring up the farting ghost at my house. That's where
you had the farting ghost.
Yeah. No. And maybe it was mimicking me and I didn't know about it. No. TMI again.
Some of the stories that I've come across of people being in two places at the same time, those are usually like attached to holiness, like Padre Pio could do that. But then there's other stories that are very creepy, that is like a doppelganger thing, where you just saw somebody over here and now you just Kelly has that in her book, a hotel where there's a doppelganger spirit.
That's really cool. Yeah, eventually, Shawn keeps saying, put these stories down on paper, and I am working on it. I've just got to get it done. So,
well, listen, Susan, before I have to kick you out of here, and I always spend a few minutes saying goodbye to Annette afterwards, I am going to kick you out of here in a couple of seconds. But did you have fun? Will you come back?
Oh, I loved it. Thank you so much, and I love all your listeners. Everybody's wonderful, and it was so nice to meet you, Annette.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Thank you. I hope you come back on soon.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Listen, give Daniel a big hug and a kiss for me. Make sure Cape Cod Happy Medium.com is the website. You're going to announce all your events. If somebody has the means to travel to you or even lives near you, they can make sure they can check out all your events you got coming up. But tell Daniel I'm looking forward to the release of the film, and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful remainder to your Friday and a great long holiday weekend there in Cape Cod. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank
See you later.
You.
So, did you love her?
I really did. That show was so fun.
I have to have her back, and you guys can. 7 times she actually, not just experience,
I
7
mean,
times
that's
she
crazy.
died
That's
and was told by God, I'm sending you back, and this is why. A couple of times she even argued and said, no, I don't want to go back. It's too beautiful here. He said, sorry, it's not your time. So we'll talk about all of that.
we should have
Yeah,
a whole near-death experience show with her, and
absolutely. People can,
probably our audience would enjoy it and have questions about that, because 7, that's like crazy. And you know, and you hear stories about people that every time they have one, when they come back, they have more enhanced abilities, and it changes who they are for sure.
well, listen, are you, oh, we're going to do next week's guest. You're going to love this one. You better be on your
Okay.
best behavior.
Okay.
He was a co-cast member on Legion with me, and he happens to be
Nice.
my bishop. Bishop James Long will be here
Oh,
this
fun.
Friday. So I'll let you. I don't think you've ever had to sit down with him, so I'll let you do that. You ready for this week's joke?
Yes.
This is my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night. Everybody sends me in these jokes and wants me to read them out loud. This is from Ray B. in Washington.
Hi, Ray.
What did the big chimney say to the little chimney?
Did the big chimney say the little chimney? What?
You're too young to smoke.
Oh,
I love you. Have a great weekend. I'll talk
have
to
a
you
great
soon.
weekend. Good night, everybody. I enjoyed it.
I'll see you later. Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books. Listen, if you have always wanted to write a book and you know what it'll be about and you've got the story, reach out to Annette. She'll help you. She'll get your book published, edited and published, and all that good stuff. So, Annette Munich, Stellium Books. She's my publisher, and like I said, I couldn't have done it without her. Guys, thank you again to United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans, and UFO Paranormal Radio Network for carrying my show. God bless them. Thank you to Michelle DeRoche for making it happen. And thank you to Laura Lee Potman for shadowing me in the studio, make sure everything runs smooth. I love her. She's so cool. I'll be on her show next month. She'll be on mine probably in a couple of months. I think I've got her scheduled. And thank you all for being here, because I don't have a show without you guys. So God bless you all for doing that, okay? What else do I want to say? Just remember, sponsors, if you want to be you want to be my sponsor and me give you and your brand a shout out live on air, reach out to us. We take sponsors. Stay tuned for Spirit Switchboard with Carrie Lynn Shellhorn. That's a great show. And remember that we may have done what the devil said we did, but we are not who the devil says we are. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Peace.